Anapata sana mpishi chama no moto kanye uboya na nyai shaka wekere kwa uno na ya kono wakulenga 4 no sekende yako ndafipenya hii anasiena bashire mpero mtaji luka yesamba luka yenu wafikia nyawe wabulo wakuno kwa samba sorry wabulo wakusambeo tuwanu ya soy pia na numba nakadia lepe pati sana pona
Nari upamulanja mama
bantu bange mukulu nemwine tayumkwira mwera uleta aliupamula ntamba mwe bantu bange mukulu nemwine tayumkwira mwera uleta 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 Mulezeka omukasi wandi ati ali kula kwinyo kumina mekola temwae Mulezeka omukasi wandi ati ali kula kwinyo kumina mekola temwae Mulezeka omulume wandi ati ali kula kwinyo kusuke kona temwae Mulezeka omulume wandi ati ndabomba kula kwinyo bulongwa bona temwae nemwine tayumkwira mwera uleta nemwine tayumkwira mwera uleta nemwine tayumkwira mwera uleta nemwine tayumkwira mwera uleta Mulezeka omulume wandi ati alisolokeriso kula kwinyo okusholoka ekona temwae Mulezeka omukasi wandi ati ali Hello, good evening Chiwempala, Elias Munsha here. I'm coming to you live from Calgary, Alberta, from our Evacuator studios. I'm very excited that you could join us. Here, I do not have video yet because, believe me, I just got to Calgary. And we are aware that so many of our friends, so many of our listeners, so many of our TV Bakweto family were wondering, what is happening to TV Bakweto? No, it is here. And thank you very much for joining us. Here with us is our resident pharmacist, Mr. Jerome Kanika, who is, I believe, in Lusaka. Are you in Lusaka, Mr. Kanika?
No, I think out of Lusaka, but I think I'll be in Lusaka again tomorrow.
All right, okay, because tomorrow is a big day apparently, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a very good flight. It was very long, and my flights are always eventful for some reason. And so I'm very excited here. I feel very energetic, and I feel like we're going to continue doing a lot more for our country, no matter where we are.
No, it's good that you traveled safely and you reached safely. That was my prayer, that you should travel safely. I'm very happy that you can confirm that you're very much safe.
Yes, indeed. Now, I'm wondering, did you have a haircut? Because I had a haircut in Lusaka a few days ago, and it was a very good haircut. Now, I'm wondering, are you also having the same haircut?
No, I had a haircut also in Lusaka, but your haircut, it's very marvelous, what I can say. That's what we call ulukosko.
And it's very easy, because there is no, looking at that in style. So if we the age, I must have what yapwa. I can see Mr. Mapanza Nkwilimba is in the background there, and he has the nicest hair. And so he's still got it. Yeah, nomba ifukwana kalimolu pala luachilamo. So kanshi wavya sana. Yeah. Anyway, so I do understand here that we have issues with the COVID vaccines, Mr. Kanika. I want you to look into that. What is happening with the vaccines? What exactly happened?
Yeah, it's like there are a lot of issues that are happening concerning the Ministry of Health, and for me, I can say the last 5 years, the last 7 years or 8 years of the PF administration, especially President Edgar Lungu, has been so pathetic in the Ministry of Health, and it's like a scandal after scandal. Yes, we have a scandal with the COVID vaccine, which the Ministry of Health wants to wash off the hands and push the ball to the young boys, whom I'm calling the small boys here, who are Zamra. But from the way things are, Ministry of Health cannot wash off the hands from the issue of the vaccine. Actually, they are the one at the center of this fake, perpetrated fake COVID vaccine, because no one tested to know if it's COVID vaccine or it was other illegal drugs. So we can say it is just presumed or perpetrated to say it's COVID vaccine, but there are no any facts to say that it was COVID vaccine which was destroyed by Zamra.
Okay. Now, is it your expectation that everything that that must be tested, every drug must be tested? Why should we be testing and spending more time on things that are already illegal?
One thing that's supposed to be done according to the law and according to the Act of Parliament that makes Zamra, once you catch someone importing something, some illegal substance, you need to first take someone to the court of law. Then from there, the court decides actually the court issues a court order to forfeit those products to the state. Then the state destroys. So in this situation, Zamna skipped some steps. They just rushed to go destroy something without taking the person who brought the vaccine. In this case, Mr. Findre, without prosecuting them, they just went on to destroy the vaccine. This now comes in when you have received an instruction. In this situation, Zamna receives instruction from the board, but there is no board. So in the absence of the board, they receive instruction from the Ministry of Health. In this situation, from the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health. So I presume that the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, instructed Zamna to rush and go destroy those so-called vaccine. But the reason of rushing to go destroy, that's one thing that we need also to probe and find out why did Zamna rush to distract evidence, who instructed them. And for me, since now there is one step ahead to their bosses, I'm linking to their bosses, instructing the juniors here, the small boys, to destroy the evidence so that the perpetrator of that illegality, that criminal offense, they should walk in the streets freely. That's what I can say from that.
Okay, so the reports are that it's not even an approved vaccine. It's like it's not even among these things like Pfizer, like Moderna, all these. It's not even among that list. So where is it coming from exactly?
Yeah, according to what Zamra said, and according to the thing that is there, it is coming from Middle East. And Bamusha, let me mention that I'm very much involved on the international forum in terms of the vaccines and all the vaccines that are being produced in the world. For your own information, one thing that I can say is that vaccine, it is registered, and it is the vaccine that is used in the Kazakhstan countries, that is in the Middle East, and it is using the license for Sinopharm. Actually, it's Sinopharm that has given the license to that pharmaceutical company to manufacture the vaccine. So in terms of that name on the vaccine, it's a genuine name for the vaccine. But now, in terms of having or saying that that's not registered by WHO or whatever thing, I think we are going to bring other things that may not be here or there. But the issue which is here, which we can say, is we need to find out exactly what is the involvement of the Ministry of Health, because in all what we have, the Ministry of Health is at the center of this mess, but they want to push it to the small boys whom they instruct on what to do in term here, and that is Zamra. The people who are involved in all this scenario, the Minister of Health, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Findre, and the former head of state, who's Mr. Edgar, who's Mr. Edgar Lungu. They need to explain to the Zambian people what is their involvement in terms of these issues of the vaccine. Without that, then I think it will be a big problem. Let me tell you how these people, they have been doing things. When the only vaccine that they announced that you are receiving the vaccine and will start vaccinating, it is they are coming in of the AstraZeneca vaccine. After they attacked it, by then the former Minister for Health, they attacked it. The Sinopharm vaccine, it was not mentioned anywhere, but we just heard the time they were updating the nation on the people who have been vaccinated. We just said that Sinopharm vaccine, we have vaccinated 500 people. Then we started asking questions, and myself, I asked a question actually to say, how did Sinopharm vaccine come into Zambia? And who received it? When did it come? That's when we had Madam Aini's usual way of doing things. The following day started updating the nation to say, no, it came for the Chinese only, but we don't know if it was just given for the Chinese alone. So even this vaccine, we were just supposed to hear to say we have vaccinated people with this kind of vaccine. Because one thing that you should know is the Ministry of Health takes advantage in the ignorance of the people or the laziness of the people questioning what they are trying to do. And once you question them, they think like you are opposing them, which is not true. So in this situation, they were planning that if PF wins, the vaccine will be given to the people as Changanya vaccine, does it? And it will just be that we have been vaccinated with Yetavax, which we don't even know exactly how the vaccine came about. Now, PF lost the elections. That's when we are hearing to say, no, they rushed to destruction. Why should people rush to destroy something well without following the procedure? No one has been apprehended for the same. I think that's something very unacceptable. Then I saw on Diamond TV that the same company is apologizing or regretting importing the same vaccine. I think that's something very much unacceptable again. They should not be regretting while they are outside the cells. They should be regretting while they are in cells. So who has arrested them? No one has arrested them. So this is why we are having a problem. And I'm saying Mr. Lungu, Mr. Findre, and the Ministry of Health in this situation, I don't know if it's the former minister, but even the permanent secretary should not stay away from this and push it to the junior people.
Yeah, thank you. General, we've already set the ball rolling, and our first topic tonight is on these confusing story about vaccines, Mr. Findley's vaccines that were seized by Zamra, that were seized by the Zambian authorities, and have already been destroyed. The next topic we are going to go to is Mr. Sean Zero. Now, I know that several of our people don't want us to be discussing Mr. Sean Zero, but General, I like taking these things as they come. And so even if they're saying that we are giving a lot of attention to Mr. Sean Zero, I think the zeros have already given him attention. And so if we tulebweke shapo fie ama zeros ayo ako itokoba na if tulandepo. And so Mr. Kanika has already started with the issue of pharmacies, and I think we can then transition. For me, I just want to talk about Mr. Sean Zero. Now, the issue with Mr. Sean Zero is not that he has no right to criticize the government. He does have that right. And General, the sooner you start, the better. So if you want to take advantage of a political thing, right, you start criticizing early. This is okay. And I don't fault him. Now, criticism does not mean that it must be right criticism. Even wrong criticism is part and parcel of our democracy. And so I do not fault Mr. Sean Zero for him to get started early, in the hope that perhaps by 2026, he will add a little bit decent numbers to his zeros that he got in the previous election. Now, my major concern is that his criticism have taken tribalistic tendencies and undertones. That is my major concern. It's okay for him to say that President Hichilema has not appointed a cabinet. I could also share the same concerns. 2 weeks, no. But the cabinet was supposed to be appointed very, very sooner than that. But that is a genuine criticism. He can criticize the government about how they are going to, the argument about IMF and other bonds. That's okay. And I think he may have some points there. But he does not have a point where he begins bringing in cows. Because no matter how we look at it, the word cow currently in our country has been used as a slur against the Tonga people of Zambia. That was what was being said. He insists on cattle, he insists on cows, he insists on farming, he insists on using that language that has been used in the past to try and hate on the Tonga people. That is my major concern. You know, what he's committing actually is a criminal offense. He shouldn't be doing that. And then, of course, he has gone on rampage talking about language. Perhaps we need to educate our people. Again, the reason why we talk about these things, our dear listeners, is because abantu bali konkanya poku chitefia bupoba. So Vashon zero, balela ndefia bupoba. Ifo tulabeko fiatio mkwaita tufure tu mpera attention. Nomba aleo na ule chalo. Ale tukabe na Zambia. Tulabeko fiatio mkwaichirifie. Vashon zero, bala ndiro kwe bati, Muzambia kwa bafye 2 national languages. Efe bala ndiro kwa bati kwa ba, Bemba and Nyanja. Now, with due respect, we need, and so he even said that he's concerned that the Hichilema presidency might introduce another national language. So according to Sean Zero, he doesn't want another national language to be introduced. He's satisfied with only Bemba and Nyanja. Now, who speaks like that? First of all, Tonga, I think each time you see Mr. Sean Zero, mule musosha muchitonga. Pantu takuwa chitundu. Kutu watampa fisha nukupate chitundu. You are a human being. Elo watalandati ine chitundu na lichipata, chitundu if you refer that are national languages is Nyanja and Bemba. Who told you that Nyanja and Bemba are national languages? Nyanja and Bemba could be spoken by so many people, quite all right. But that does not mean that there cannot be another language that can be preferred by a section of our people. So it is actually tribalistic and very divisive to come and say that you only prefer two national languages and Hichilema must not introduce another language. Kwena mwebalande chitonga muli bantu bamutende sana. Bantu nganine. Ngana alimu konka Sean Zero. No kuya mkumusosha sana echitonga cheka. Ba Sean Zero nga babu kolu chero kusanga fye chitonga abantu bali babire chitonga. Nomba understand because Zambians rejected this kind of tribalism, this kind of tribal talk. President. How can we very quickly go back to such rhetoric? We are giving him attention. However, this is not right. This is not right at all. You know, if the Tonga citizens of our country, but if Tonga, they are free. If they want to make it a national language, you are free to kasambidida. Now kusambidida bantu abengibali sambidida kari Tonga, and we are doing okay. We are a multilingual, multi-tribal, multi-party, multi-religious country. That is who we are. Teutiwa ya mkulanda tiyo mkwai na ishibafye turefu wafye chibemba na Nyanja ichitonga iyo. Ala Vashon Tembo, Vashon Zero. Mkwai mwichindike sana. We are okay as a country. Stop this tribalism. Criticize this government as much as you can. But please keep away from the rhetoric that demeans another tribe or another language. The way these Bemba and Nyanja have arisen in our country, it's sometimes historical mistake, it's sociological factor, we agree with that. But that does not mean that we cannot have another language, or that at State House, the president cannot use a different language from English, Bemba and Nyanja. They can do that. And doing that is not a Zambian, it's a Zambian. Okulanda Luvale, okulanda Lunda, okulanda Chinamwanga, okulanda Chilenje n'Ekisoli. It is Zambian. Weushire umfu Ekisoli is you are the one who has a problem. Nomba utekwe ya mkwe baba sori ati muirande ekitundu kyempantu nshire umfwa. Wemwaume. China Zambia, chitundu chawe na Zambia. Kanshi weushire umfu Ekisoli, weushire umfu Ekilenje. Weushire umfu Ekitonga, nangutaule umfu Ekiloze. You are the problem. It is as simple as that. Our citizens should not be apologizing. Ukulaikala kwana kali mote chalo chabo. Balela ndechitonga mubu mfisolo. Kuya fesi wafisama. Ero wala ndechitonga. Ala, we mwaume. Iwe shon zero. Kanshu wekere mo kuchipata. Kumwe nukole foku mkumvwe chinyanja. Cheka. Kachinga chicheba chilia. Nangu kumalawi. Eko wekere. Utushire fwenka n'abatonga besu nga barera ndechitonga tukasambirira echitonga nechirozi tukasambirira nomba iwe weshoni zero ubwekeremo ansonga nachiba ku Zambia nga nachisa kulongesha njebere shoni zero lelonga lero ubwekeremo ku Malawi kachinga nikuchipata kulia nga nikuchipata nga nikuisa ubwekeremo Pantu yu mulomo yu tuaukana. That's why Zambians elected this president. Ama campaigns ya kwa chishimba kambwiri. Zambians rejected it. Number, why should we go back to that kind of rhetoric and language? The 7 broadcast languages, they are not based on it's because those are the most popular languages. No. We have more speakers of Namwanga. We have more speakers of Mambwe. All these 7 were just broadcast languages. I also send some political consideration. But it does not mean that these languages are much more important than other Zambian languages. That is not what it means. So, of course, about languages, it's very troublesome. Nafulwa. Because in tribalism, divisiveness, this idea where we have centered Bemba and Nyanja. I'm looking at decentralization. Decentralization means you decenter Bemba and Nyanja. When you decenter it, you look at other languages also that are part of the Zambian rhetoric. That is who we are as a country. You can't just say at yom kwa chive mbafi nechi Nyanja. Iyo ne chitonga chin nambo kuweke sharp. Anyway, General, please take over.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Chiwempala. Good evening, Zambia. And good evening to all our viewers all over the world. It has been a fantastic week this week. I met lots of our TV Wakwetu members in Lusaka. Some people are demanding that I should be in the Copper Belt. Munsha, yesterday I was shocked. Some lady approached me at a hotel in Lusaka. I had my mask on. And good evening, Jeremy. Where are you? Are you in Lusaka? Are you in Copper Belt, Jeremy?
General, I'm not in Lusaka. I'm not in Copper Belt, but I'm somewhere in Central Province. But I'll be back in Lusaka tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Musha. It's good to hear that you have arrived safely, my man. It was fantastic to have you in Lusaka. I know you must be jet-lagged, Musha. Our viewers were complaining. I got so many messages. They really wanted us on yesterday, the day before yesterday. I want to apologize that I've been involved. I've been in meetings throughout this week, trying to get things done. You know, we campaigned for months and months. This is the time to start fixing some of the things. So I've been involved in meetings to try and fix some of these things, but it's not for the TV Wakwetu's consumption. Because some of the meetings are official meetings, not in my official capacity, because I have no position, but I've been given some of the tasks to do, which I'm very glad to do on behalf of our party. And Munsha, what a week in Lusaka. It has just been unbelievable. Let me start with the vaccines, Munsha, and our viewers. I think there was something fishy happening in this country in the last 7 years. How can an earth-moving company import vaccines? What's going on, Jeremy? You should tell me. Can anybody import vaccines? Wake up and import vaccines.
Vaccines, no one can import vaccines, and especially for COVID vaccine, you need government involvement or government approval. to import the COVID vaccine. No wonder I've insisted to say Ministry of Health is the main culprit, and they should not all shove the hands and throw the ball to the boys, who are in this case, I'm calling the small boys, Zamra. They should not, those are small boys whom they are commanding, but Ministry of Health is the main culprit. No wonder we need a total overhaul there.
Yeah, what I'm wondering, Jerome and our viewers, is that there is something definitely going wrong at the Ministry of Health. We cannot continue having all these scandals after scandal. We thought we have a new government, and even during the elections, when we're having a transition, we are now going through a situation where we have another scandal. The question is, when were these things imported? And why should the Ministry of Health allow these vaccines to be imported? And I find it very strange. I think we need an investigation at the Ministry of Health, Jeremy.
Yeah, General, that's very true. And moreover, to start with, the company that was involved, General, it's a company for one of the close associates for the former head of president, for the former head of state. Wonder for me, I keep saying to say, Ministry of Health, former head of state, and Mr. Findre should explain to us, and Ministry of Health should also give us the reason why they gave a permit to this company to import the vaccines, not washing of the hand. The thing is, the vaccine came on 2nd of July, General, and we are not destroyed before elections. We are destroyed after election because they have seen there is a change of government. Now, the way of destroying the vaccines are not according to what the law says or what the law stipulates. That's where the problem is. It is like someone trying to cover up their tracks. And in this situation, it is Ministry of Health trying to cover up its wrongdoings because they have seen a change in government and they want to be looked like they have been doing something well. They are the major culprits.
I find it strange. I really find it strange. And what I would love to see is a thorough audit. Personally, I'm in Lusaka. I will demand that there is a thorough audit. Whoever is going to be Minister of Health, hoping that tomorrow the cabinet will be announced. If the Minister of Health must order an audit at the Minister of Health, because it simply means there's something fishy going on. And this name Finley is now getting really nauseating to me. It's getting annoying. That the same man, there are issues of Finley everywhere. There are fingerprints and footprints of Mr. Finley everywhere. I know it's not fair to just accuse somebody to say, but it's just too much of this Finley nonsense. For me, it's just too much.
Yeah.
We cannot have the same person importing things. We cannot be having the same person being accused of so many things. We cannot have Finley standing in front of State House and posing in front of the State House, and we can't do that. So for me, I will be asking the Minister of Health to investigate the Ministry of Health because there are too many scandals in that ministry. Just too much. There's no way. Go ahead, Jeremy.
General, not just to stop you there before I lose my thought. The issue here is, have you ever heard anything whatsoever to say that Mr. Findre has donated even a bottle of water to any person in Zambia? You have never heard of that. But what prompted Mr. Findre today after election, after losing power of the PF, to claim that he wanted to donate the vaccines? I think that's something unacceptable. We have never heard anything of Mr. Findre donating to Zambia. And Mr. Findre has been a major beneficiary of the PF administration because of whatever the deals he was doing. So with all his money and riches, he never donated even a bottle of water to the government. So what made him, after 7 years of Mr. Edgar Lungu's tenure in office, wants now to donate after losing power, Mr. Edgar Lungu losing power, then Mr. Findre donate 10,000 doses of the vaccines. I think that's not the way it is, General. That's not the way it is. And moreover, those vaccines, they had invoices which were costed. Donations, they don't come like that. Donation just comes. But now those vaccines were invoiced. So in terms of invoice or costed, how can he claim to say didn't spend any money? I think that's something very much unacceptable. Just that the small boys who are Zamra here were instructed by their bosses to destroy these vaccines, which is something very much unacceptable. And we need to do a total overhaul, yes, at the Ministry of Health and serious investigation, general. That's when you're going to know how many Zambian people have been killed by the Ministry of Health for negligence and for the love of money and short deals, which have been subjected the Ministry of Health for the past seven years or 8 years.
My concern is that what is happening at the Ministry of Health is not an unusual thing with the PF government. President Lungu mismanaged this country so much that the Ministry of Health is only but a symptom, one of the symptoms. Nearly everywhere, the rot in the system, it was rotten right from State House to each and every institution. In fact, even semi-independent institutions in Zambia were all compromised. This was pretty bad. The corruption was deep, Statutory bodies like Mr. Kanika, you've said it, Jerome, several times, that even HPCZ, do you call it HPCZ?
Yes.
Yeah, the ones that sat on your license for years. The Independent Broadcasting Authority. I've also got my own issue, which I don't want to talk about, but I may talk about at a later stage. It also affected me. So you see that the rot in the Patriotic Front extended to nearly every institution of government.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad. And so what is happening at the Ministry of Health? We are not surprised. And that's why you, as the people of Zambia, you saw through the rot of President Lungu's government and rejected him. The reason why we need to continue talking about it is that these mistakes are not repeated by any president, that the curse of Edgar Lungu never comes back to haunt our country again. That is why we must continue talking about it. But before we open to several others, General, I know that the next topic was Sean. And so you've already, I don't think you are interested in addressing Mr. Sean Zero.
Musha, I want to address Sean. The message I have for people like Sean is that you lost elections, Sean. You have no moral authority to start criticizing HH because you lost elections, Sean.
No, General. Let me take with you a little bit.
Musha, you said your bit. Let me say my bit. The truth is that Sean Tembo lost elections. And Sean Tembo has the right to criticize the government. I have no problem with that. But the issue of him bringing tribalism, that is not acceptable.
Yeah.
That is not acceptable. He can criticize the government. The president has delayed in his cabinet. That's fine. Yes, talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the quality of his appointments. Let's talk about any Zambian has got the right. They put HH in power. They've got the right to criticize them. But I will not stand by and watch somebody bringing the same things we said no to, tribalism, and start calling people cows or calling people cockroaches and calling certain tribes special tribes. There is no special tribe in Zambia. There is no special tribe in Zambia. We have got 73 tribes, languages, and 73 ethnic groups, and these groups are equal.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to speak Chokwe tomorrow, they're free to speak their language. If anybody wants to speak Munda tomorrow, they're free to speak their language. If anybody wants to speak their language, which is Mambwe, they're free to speak their language. If a Chikunda wants to speak their language, they are free. They're all equal tribes. So this business of saying, because we've got a Tonga president, Tongas should not speak their language is complete nonsense. And this idea of referring to the HH as a president and bringing in cows, bringing in farms is complete nonsense. In fact, Musha, I would like to find out where Sean Tembo's office is, and I will go tomorrow and have a discussion with him, ask him on live television, Diamond TV, or we bring him on Backward tomorrow to tell us why. Where is he getting this guts to be trying to be very tribal? That I can't stand, because, you know, we fought against the PF and they lost very clean, because Zambian people said no to tribalism. They said no to this arrogance of thinking that other tribes are more special. In fact, if you are a Tonga, speak your language. Speak your language in the street. Speak your language at the market. Speak your language at any place. If you are Bemba, you are free to speak your language anywhere. There are no official languages in Zambia. It's only the official language is English, and probably those languages which are spoken on the radio. But all Zambian languages are the same. So I would like to challenge Sean. He should not think that we don't know about him. Sean has got his dirty skeletons. We know them. And I think the UPND has got issues to try and start governing, because it's a governing party. I don't think they should be wasting their time talking to people like Sean. But if he continues behaving the way he's behaving, I think it's time to teach Sean a very big lesson. First of all, to tell him to say, you cannot be using tribalism. That should not be happening. In fact, for me, he should be the first person to be arrested for being stupid, because that's not acceptable.
Yeah,
that's what I can say, Musha. I will go to his office tomorrow. I'm driving to his office tomorrow and ask him where he's getting the guts from to start criticizing HH based on his tribe.
Yeah,
because Mr. Sean Tembo, if you're watching us, you lost elections. I don't know how many votes he got. I could have beaten Tembo myself without campaigning. If I went to stand against Tembo nationwide, I would have got more votes than him. That's what I can say, Musha, over that.
General, Sean is Mr. Sean Zero. So he got 0 votes. And again, I am very glad that you agree with me that criticizing is welcome, but this tribalism is not welcome. Referring to the governing party as cows, referring to State House as cattle, as a farm, that is unacceptable. And we stand together as TV Bakwetu to condemn this tribalism, and we are hoping the good people of Zambia are going to stand together and condemn it. Again, we are not standing on Mr. Sean Zero's right to criticize. He's welcome to. But Mr. Sean Zero has no right to use language, to use tribalism in so doing. And I hope that our people across the country are going to be proud to speak their language, to speak their languages.
Musha, let me respond directly to one of our viewers, Brian Musoni, who says, Mr. Chipakwaku, he has the right to criticize the president whether he lost or not. Mr. Musoni, I am saying this man has got the right to criticize the Zambian government. He has got the right to criticize President Hichilema. He has that right, but he has no right to start referring to him as a Tonga president or cows or farms. He has no right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's only 2 weeks since the HH lost, and Mr. Sean Tembo, Brian Msonda, must have respect. This is a man who has been voted by the Zambian people. He has the right to criticize him on anything. But if he starts bringing in tribalism, we will tackle some of us who belong to UPND. We will tackle him head on, because that is not accepted. And I think Zambians should tackle him head on, because Zambians said no to tribalism only 2 weeks ago. So, Brian Musoni, I'm very, very clear here. I have said Sean Tembo has got the right to criticize the government of the Republic of Zambia, led by President HH, because he is a citizen. What I am against is that he is trying to bring these tribal undertones, which are not acceptable. And on that one, I'm ready to tackle him as a citizen. That's what I can say, Musha. Over to you.
General, I think As much as yes, we need to condemn what Mr. Sean Tembo is doing, Sean Zero Tembo is doing. Again, we should also tell him or remind him to say, have you seen how you are enjoying the freedom of speech after changing government? Because under PF, you didn't have this freedom of speech. Cadres would have descended on him and would have been beaten the way he was beaten. But under UPND government and under President Hakainde Hichilema, he has been given freedom of speech to say whatever he is saying. Now, himself again is failing to control himself as a mature person, where he's now bringing the issue of tribes and the other things that are very much unnecessary. Well, he wants the same people of Zambia to make him a president. I think that's something very much unacceptable. And you see, sometimes the criticism, we need opposition. We need people to oppose the UPND government. But the issue which is there is you need to wait. At least give them chance, even 6 months if it's possible, and you see how they are going to be moving and running the country. Then you have enough points to criticize, and the people of Zambia are going to agree with you. Now, even before a full cabinet is appointed, you have just already started criticizing. Abantu bakaresa awe nangu kwenda nangu malirusa tevyo tufile chabe.
Yeah, because Jeremy, I don't know what Zambians feel when somebody says cow mentality. What does that mean, Musa? I am not very educated. You guys who are lawyers, what is cow mentality?
Cow mentality, he's playing on the prejudices against the Tonga of Zambia. That's what he's doing. Wasn't this the same thing that was being said about the fact that the UPND is a party of cows, and that at inauguration there'll be cows all over? This is tribalism. This is unacceptable.
I don't accept that.
You know,
I don't accept that. Because we were told that when HH is going to be inaugurated, there will be cows in the stadium. There will be cows in Lusaka. That's what we were told.
Yeah.
And I think this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
And it looks like they want to continue this agenda of trying to insult a certain region. But for goodness sake, this man is your president. Whether you like him or you don't like him, whether you like the Tongas or you don't, the HH is the president of the Republic of Zambia. Full stop, Mr. Tembo, whether he likes it or not.
I wonder why you're calling him Tembo. He's Mr. Zero.
Mr. Zero. Whether he likes it or not, this man is his president.
Yeah, Sean Tembo.
So what I don't accept is to call some people, call it cow mentality. I'm sorry, that is not acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable.
Yeah, thank you, General, for that. Now, General, I need to move before we bring in our colleagues and talk about the issue of the UPND and jobs and all that. Now, this has come up very frequently. And of course, I spent about 3 weeks in Zambia, if not more. Can't remember very well. And one of the things that kept coming up was, are you going to take up an appointment in the UPND administration? Now, General, this issue of taking up a position in the UPND administration did not start after the UPND won. Even before, several months ago, when I met the president, candidate as he was then, I was being earmarked. Some people say justice minister, others ambassador, others the advisor, and everything else. And so after the win, some people have continued speculating. But I just want to deal with something here, General. The people who belong to the UPND, they should never, ever feel ashamed that the people of Zambia has entrusted the UPND and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema with the mantle to serve our country. Never ever should members of the UPND, and I'm not UPND, you as General Chipakupako and Jerome Kanika, as members of the UPND, you should never be ashamed of that. It's a very heavy responsibility that has been assigned to your party. And because of that, you should be willing to serve this country, because that is what it means. The UPND won by 1 million votes, for goodness sake. This is not play. Tabamyeberoko wat nomba muye mulete barabene ba kerenka mwafumishepo ativese nomba babombe. No. The Zambians have said that it is the UPND that should govern them, at least for the next 5 years. Mwila umfone nsoni. Akansoni kafuirire muibula. You people have the manifesto, you have the mandate from the people of Zambia, and if the people of Zambia want you to serve, therefore musumine okobat, you are going to serve the people of Zambia. And in fact, you need to be ready and available. Ready and available. They are already making their way. President-elect at that point. Okuya sangana diva with these kelenkas. Ikwisa bomon chevere iwekerenka na iwekodi kunote konde njevere na iwekerenka te njevere this is very serious na iremu kuposhako for the president elect kuya basanga bakerenka ko bari ku community house nomba kanshi imwenga mwaranda you are not available ababene bakerenka ebo nomba bakalaso ntoko bati kainge bali available, so never feel ashamed at all. 1 million votes is a lot of votes that will fire my what you waipantu bakerenke bali available because our bakerenka they will continue stealing. Chokanshi ba UPND ndemi ever be available. One. The second thing I need to tell the UPND is this: you need to speak to your party secretary general, because rimo abantunga bawina balala bako. You need to tell the party secretary general that you are available to serve this country. And so when the president is making consideration for appointments, they should prioritize new blood, fresh ideas, and new people that are going to govern this country. Not to kuya kona kalimumule papatira. Okupapatira shan 1 million votes bushe kwangala ababa PF aba with 90 votes na tu kwacha mtumba. They celebrated as if lesanai kiroko fumakumulo. Nga imwe with 1 million votes mwevo. Nga chinstate moendera ne chilumbo kwa bati lesami pela responsibility ya kubombe again tenchto yo kubombela bekala chalo kubabombela bena chiwempala nokule ko kwiba kwa ba PF kulyoko balechita. And so I'm encouraging you, don't even at yom kwai bala mbwena mwata I'm looking for a job. No. It's the people of Zambia that elected this party. It is this party that is the ruling party. It is because the people of Zambia see, okay, but this is the party that is going to bring some hope and a difference. So why should you be walking like you are defeated?
Musha, I will give chance to Jeremy later on. Let me just respond when my mind is still very clear. I am in Lusaka and I'm walking with my head very high. I'm working with my head very high because I'm a proud Zambian by the way the Zambians voted. The second thing is that I've met the president. I met the president last week, and I've met almost all the senior officials of our party, and we have started working, Musha. For me, I don't hide. I've been asked questions just like you have been asked. What position are you going to have? I don't know. And it's up to the president. But I've said it publicly. If the president appoints me and he trusts me with an appointment, I'll work for my country. Because we have to turn this country around. I have been meeting officials in the party and in the government in the last 1 week. There are serious things which need to be done. I will not give you my viewers what I've said what I discussed with the president. I think it would be wrong for me to say that. I will not say what I've discussed with the Minister of Finance because it's wrong for me to say that. Officially, I can't say anything. I've met the Secretary General, I've met the Minister of Finance yesterday, and the president is ready to work. That's what I can tell you. And I am in Lusaka. I am meeting people. I am meeting government officials, I am meeting party officials every day. And what we are seeing is that there is a mess in most of the ministries, and we must sort out that mess. And to me, top of that priority for this government is that we have to sort out the economy. We have to make sure that we create jobs as quickly as we can for the young people. Musha and your viewers, we've just been doing studies of what is happening in Lusaka. Can you imagine how many markets are in Lusaka? 65 markets in Lusaka. One of the markets, which is Mtendere, PF has been collecting 480,000 kwacha every month from Mtendere. So can you imagine how much they've been collecting from city market? So what I can tell you is that UPND is right on the money now. We are preparing to waiting for the cabinet tomorrow or probably the other day, and we will be tackling issues. There will be, those who will be appointed will be tackling issues. If I'll be appointed, I'll be helping my government and my people to tackle the problems which we have. I'm giving you the example of markets. PF has been making money from 65 markets in Lusaka. If they were making 48,000 kwacha from Mtendere market alone, can you imagine how much they've been making at city market? Can you imagine how much they're making in bus stations? They were charging every booth, every little booth, money booth, I don't know what they call them in Lusaka, they were charging them 5 kwacha a day. So it's sad that UPND has just won within 1 week, and people are expecting that all the terrible things which PF did must be cleaned up in 1 week. It's not possible. But I can tell you, I've met the highest office, and I've met the Minister of Finance. I've met our SG and our officials. I've met the youth leaders. They are saying, let's prioritize things. First thing is the economy. Let's sort out the economy. Second thing, let's sort out the issue of unemployment for our people. And they wait until the cabinet is going to be announced. You will see people working. That's what I can say. I don't know what Jeremy thinks. I am in Lusaka, Musha. I am listening. I'm being asked these questions everywhere where I go. My answer is very clear. If I am appointed in any position, whether it's been sweeping in the streets of Lusaka, I will sweep the streets of Lusaka to make our country better. Over to you, Jerome.
Now, General, before Jerome comes in, we need to clarify something. When we got involved with the issues in Zambia, it was never because of any advantage that we thought was going to come our way. I started writing for you remember that time when Mr. Hakainde Hichilema was imprisoned? 2017. The record is there. We did not do this because we were anticipating anything. When we were speaking for Mr. Hakainde and calling the PF to account, it was PF supporters who were insulting us. What were they saying? That it's okay. Okumukaka Hichilema bamupika mumafi. That it's okay. They are the ones who were saying it. If we stood up, and it was never because of power, because if we wanted power, very easy, very, very easy to PF. We've become PF chapwa. Very easy. The reason why we stood for the truth was because justice matters, and truth matters, and fairness matters, and good governance matters. That is why we did what we did. So nomba kupa pasanat nakalimo. This is not today. When we are standing for the rule of law, it's not now at yom guairo to atampa fiefi into yo. Ati chidaba wina ba ichi de manombero to wako sapo. No. Erio ababa kerenka vale iva. Tatwa ishire mieba tabani baka bualala. Te ifwe tu amiebe rokoba tabani baka bualala. Erio ba ire upsendenda lama baya shtefi polo kuipa ya bantu. Te ifwe tu amiebere atabani baka kerenka. Baya shita na fimanda mande fia kwa tinga ba kuipa ya webo no kukutola ba kutola. Te ifwe tu amiebere. Erio ba kapokola bale be po bufyo kwa bali kwa tensa mbwishi akokako muntu. without a trial. Teife tuwamyebera tubufi. Ati bakapokola efe bareranda fyabufi. Irion samansa kaunda baipeye. Tari nifo tuwamyebera ko batuwipeye ni lungu. Tuwalimipitire mumbali. Tari tuwalimyebere mwebo ko batuwaipa ya ni lungu pandu lungu ewa ishtire efe polo polo. Noku tumpika bakapokolo ko bati barepika abantu nokuipaya. Tuwalipitire mumbali. Irio baire mukukongola kaloba kanono bakongola baya mukukula efya kukula ichalo chao naika tatwa miebere. When this nation was in need, we responded, we sacrificed and responded. Bantu Zambia matters. It did not matter kwa tio tuikaloku tadi. What is Canada to Zambia? We used them means ayo tupere in order to control if you are HT Zambia. Nombalelo muise mukutuchita doubt ukwati everything that we did was because of an appointment. You can take it with you if you want. If you watch if Mulandu wakwati Zambia matters, and we are extremely happy with what has happened. Now mfinika contribution aka nono tuwa vikireko. We are extremely proud of that, General.
Musha, I think I'll repeat before I hand over to Jeremy. I am walking the streets of Lusaka with my head high. I'm a proud Zambian. I'm being greeted everywhere, whether it's in the police camp, whether it's in the barracks, whether it's a state house, whether it's PF cadres. I don't know how many phone calls I've received from Akerenka PF. I am walking the streets of Lusaka very proud because of the little contribution we made to make HH a president and to change from these Kerenkas. The truth is that PF, in fact, Musha, from what I'm seeing and hearing, watch out and see what's going to happen in the next 3 months. There will be real things being revealed about this party PF and some of the Kerenkas. Watch and see what's going to happen. You remember this broadcast today in the next 3 months when the real debt of PF comes out.
We also need to be very clear. Okay, but if the UPND decides to come boko na ule fintu, na pufie netu kalanda. Imwedi because you are UPND, limbita mwa kalanda. Inen kalanda. Bantu ichalo is much more important. So kanshi, mukontolo refe fintu buino, ukulingana no bulayo mwapanga. Nga mwafirufiania, na pufie netu kalanda. Ichangu kefyo. Jeremy, what are you saying?
Kwena abamusha ngefyo omulandire. Abantu bafire baishi ba first one thing. Before it was not fashionable to support UPND. We were supporting UPND. And we told the people what the evil PF was doing. And it was not easy. We were all hiding, especially some of us who were in Zambia. We were persecuted right, left, center. Imagine where your license just been suspended without even telling you that your license has been suspended. Print the license so that you suffer the consequences of saying against the PF government. I think that's something very, very bad. But like the way it is, for me, I feel, and I still feel even up to today, I still feel the issues of ANB, they are not yet over. I want to see first Chitaru in sales, Edgar Lungu in sales for the issue of ANB, and for them to subject the Zambian people to get those fake medicines and condoms. That's it. There I'm very much skeptical. There I'm very much straight, and I want people need to be told how to have integrity and how to protect the Zambian people. So the issue of 1B for me, even all the people supported that issue of 1B, they need also to face the law. Because we cannot have people killing people, then other people are clapping and saying, no, this is Boma killing its own people. It's Boma. Then again, when you check very well, again, tatrapuisha tuasanga na fimbifyo. And up to today, I tell them to say, Ministry of Health is trying so hard to cover up all the tracks and whatever thing they have been doing which are wrong. because these issues that you hear, ututu pusumuka ni 5%. Kwali befintu ifikulu ufu abantu tabalayishi ba. Ifikulu that bonse mkambonku ikata that I think no one yantref fyoruka sapa minister of health bonse baka kreniko. Ufu mkambonku punga. Because these guys are something else. And moreover, people should know that this is now a UPND government, and the UPND has its own manifesto. And this manifesto, its members are the people who believe in the manifesto for UPND, and they should be ready to execute the manifesto to benefit the Zambian people. So in this situation, someone who believes in the PF manifesto cannot today change goalposts and say, I believe in the UPND manifesto and I'm going to execute according to the UPND manifesto. No, that's now Mshani Nabwari.
Yeah.
Where were people before to explain to the Zambian people how sweet and nice the UPND manifesto was? These are the people who are opposing us and attacking us, where we say what the UPND manifesto means and what the UPND intends to do once it forms government. Now it has formed government. As who are saying what it intends to do, we become useless, then they become heroes and they want to come and get things. I think that's something very much unacceptable. And just like you have advised, let all UPND members move with the head high and let them continue preaching and talking about their manifesto for 2021 to 2026, because that's what we need to execute and tell the people in 2025. We need to be telling the people to say, we have done this, we have done this, we have done this. This is what we have done 50% of this, 70%, 40%, 100% of this. That's what we'll be telling the people of Zambia as we approach the 2026.
Thank you very much. You all tuned to TV Bakwetu, and so far so good. Now, as always, unless I talk about stars, people don't give stars. So please do so. Send stars to TV Bakwetu because we need them. We are a voluntary television station here on Facebook, but you can certainly know that we value each and every contribution from all of you, because this is really your TV. And so please send stars. You know how, just check out your Facebook. It has the stars. Send it to TV Bakwe to become a subscriber. On YouTube, you can also send, share this, like it, ask people to be part of it. We want to continue providing checks and balances to our government and commenting on the development of our country, a role that we really feel very strongly about. So thank you very much for all of you, and keep it up. This is your television. I'm now going to bring in several of our discussants that are going to join us here. We have Mr. Mukelabai. I think one of the things was that we needed to be very fair to this name because it is always butchered. Mukelebai. Please don't. Mukelabai. And Miss Likezo and Pesi Chama. Pesi, we are going to have a biracial discussion one of these days. We want to bring all Zambians, all biracial Zambians, so that we can have this conversation about what it means to be a biracial Zambian. I know that there is one biracial lady that has raised a lot of dust. She's saying that black in the national flag, we were taught that it symbolizes people, but it also excludes some people that are not black. I found that to be very interesting. So I look forward to such a discussion one of these days. Mr. Nkwilimba, it was such a pleasure to meet you. And it was not the first time, but it was one of the great times. And so Mr. Nkwilimba is here. We are going to have a very, very good discussion. And Mr. Chilufya, Patrick Chilufya. Mwewe newe fidim. Anyway, so we are going to now open up with our discussions with our friends on TV Bakwetu. You are all welcome. I'm going to share the link and I'll be moderating in the background who comes in and who goes out. General, let's carry on our discussion.
Thank you so much, Musha, and good evening and welcome to our panel tonight. Musha, it's not fair. we have men only in this panel tonight. Can we try and bring in one lady or two ladies? I don't know, so that we make it fair. This TV Bakwetu is about Zambians. Zambians means men and women and young people.
General,
welcome.
General, we have Miss Likezo Masua right here.
Yes. Okay,
she's not going to be too happy if you don't recognize her.
I didn't realize it was Likezo Masua, because it just says Likezo. Thank you so much. At least we've got Likezo Masua here, which is very good. Our viewers, and for those who are not in Zambia.
General, before you do that, is it confirmed that there will be cabinet tomorrow?
Yes, I can confirm that. I think cabinet will be announced tomorrow. So stand by, Zambia. We will have a cabinet tomorrow, probably in the evening. That's going to happen.
So General Mbwele,
but anyway, Musha, if you are appointed, just get a ticket and come back. Just keep your eyes glued on the TV. If you are appointed, you just have to come back and save your country, Musha. I know you're not UPND, but you know, a president can appoint anybody tomorrow.
including NDC.
He can, yes, not that NDC, but the other NDC. If you're in the other NDC, I'm sorry, you might not be appointed. But if you're in the other NDC, you're most welcome. So should I say welcome Wolikezo from the UK, and let's welcome our friend person, Chama, the boy from Feira, who's in London. And it was such a pleasure to meet my brother, Mr. Nkwinimba. It was lovely to have time to sit down together, share some lunch, and probably talk about ourselves. Patrick, fantastic to see you, my friend from London. And Mkeleva Ishangwe, it's good to see you. Now, we have...
General, did you say Mkeleva? General, I'm not going to be happy with you. Did you say Mkeleva?
I said Mkeleva.
Mukela.
Yeah. So we have a few minutes. Musha, what time have you got? Because this is 20 to 11 Zambian time.
Okay, yeah. So we need to go up to 1 hour 30 minutes. So we have about 18 minutes, General.
We've got about 18 minutes. Can we wind it up in 20 minutes? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, and our viewers, there are a lot of comments on the Facebook page. I want to start with your views. We've got two topics here: the issue of Mr. Zero. I think that's Musha's term. It's not me. Mr. Zero criticizing the president and calling the UPND government. I don't know whether he's referring to the president as cow mentality. And he has written a lot of other things on about the government. Our view is that he's free to criticize the government, but for him to bring in the issue of tribalism, we are saying no. Then we have the issue of the vaccines. We have an earth-moving organization, company, getting vaccines. And I can tell you, our viewers, I've been to some of these ministries myself. What Jerome has said is that you will be shocked in a number of days, probably a number of weeks, of some of the things which will come out from these ministries. So I would like us to discuss those within 20 minutes. And there are 5 of us, should I say 5 panelists, 6 panelists, including Wolikezo, Percy. So we will share probably 2 minutes each. You can discuss anything about those topics, or if you want to raise one topic, please, but be brief, 2 minutes. So I start with the lady. Wolikezo, good evening.
Good evening, Board General, and good evening, everybody, wherever you are watching us from. Sorry, this evening I'm just off camera. Next time I'll be on camera. Yeah, I'll start with the issue which is so much on my mind, and this is the issue of the fake vaccine. Ever since I heard about it, I couldn't believe that my country in this modern era can, accept something that is not even recommended, most especially that we came from the background of honeybee. So as if that is not enough, we are receiving this vaccine and we are trying to fight this pandemic. And here we are we have people importing this vaccine, which is not authorized. So that was really, really shocking to me. And most especially to hear that it's been destroyed. And it appears there's no witness to that effect. It seems there's a small group of people who can just receive all this consignment, which is done in a wrong way, and they go ahead and destroy it. I mean, we are talking about lives of people here. I can give an example. Me as a nurse, there's medication that we give which should be witnessed, and this is called controlled drug. These controlled drugs can never be given by one person, one nurse, or any trained person. It has to be two people who should give it, sign it, and give it to a patient. If it means destroy, it has to be destroyed by two qualified people. So the same thing, now we are talking of this vaccine, which is thousands of them, which came into the country way before, is it a month before the election? And then suddenly we are told that this vaccine has been destroyed. How was it destroyed, and are there any specimens? We are dealing with lives of people here. And what is shocking me and worrying me further is the fact that suppose PF won, what would have happened? Definitely this vaccine may have, then maybe they were going to administer it, who knows? So this issue of the vaccine, it has to be taken up seriously by our government, and especially the minister to be, the new Minister of Health, is got a very big task to do, because we haven't forgotten about honeybee, and now we've got this thousands and thousands stacks of vaccine which was destroyed in whatever way. Then secondly, the issue of Sean Tembo. I personally have tried my best to maintain a low profile with that man. Okay, he can criticize, but the way he's criticizing is going beyond. Because when I saw that post, actually, I don't usually go to his wall, but some of my Facebook friends, they will screenshot and then they will share and so on. Then I saw that cow mentality. That didn't go well with me. What kind of an opposition leader? We are just coming out of that era where we are trying to correct things. And here is a leader who come up and mention such things like the president or the ruling party having the cow mentality. Cow mentality, meaning that, he is degrading, is degrading the president, degrading the current governance to cows, animals. That is so provocative. It's very, very provocative, and I do concur with the general. Please, General, go and see this man and tell him that, some of us, we are trying to ignore him, but he's stepping on our toes, and he needs to respect the president and the current governors. The people of Zambia voted out such type of leaders, and we don't want him to take us back to that, because this is bringing fresh wounds. He has to tame his tongue. He can look for a way of criticizing, but he has to mind his language. This has to come to an end. We are not going to watch Sean Tembo keep degrading our leader, keep using terms that are so provocative, and it's like he wants to provoke us so that when we react, he's going to finger point. But we don't want to go to that level. So he needs to be spoken to. I do agree with Elias Muncha. So I was like saying, okay, let's ignore him. But I think it's too much. He talks a lot. In a day, I don't know how many posts you put. He talks a lot. And in the process, much as he can criticize things like, okay, we need the government, we need the cabinet in place, he can criticize, positively, things that we know, okay, yeah, this is real. But it should not go beyond. I rest my case. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bolikezo. Ladies and gentlemen, can we be brief? 2 minutes, remember, so that we can give everybody a chance. Let's go back to Mkeleva Isa. 2 minutes, sir. Be brief.
Hello, good evening, viewers, and good evening, General, and good evening, Council Mosher. I hope you traveled well. It's good to see you back. Well, it's just to go back straight to the point about. I'm going to talk about the appointments. This cabinet, as you have already alluded, that tomorrow we are likely to have a new cabinet in place. This has been really long overdue. We want the president to appoint. I know he's under pressure because he made promises that his cabinet was going to represent each province or each person, and it wasn't going to be one-sided. So I believe that's why he took his time. But a cabinet can be reshuffled, so we don't have to think as though the cabinet that he's going to announce is the final. You know, people can be appointed and be fired, if be removed from those offices. So with that part, it's okay. We just have to wait for his prerogative to take place. When it comes to Mr. Tembo, I don't know why we even have to talk about him. For he, to me, is a non-entity person. He tried to come into power. He ran for presidency, but you saw that he came up with zeros everywhere. And this is a gentleman who has a very, very humble background, and he just needs to behave himself, and he doesn't need to go back to the Kambwili kind of era, because I know that what he wants is recognition. He is craving for recognition, and the more we talk about him, it is actually the more people, especially those that lost, they enjoy that we are even talking about him right now. But Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, we have Hakainde Hichilema in place to actually look up to and wait for him to start performing, because even him, Sean Tembo, he is actually he is also anticipating for the good things to start happening, and we know that he's an intelligent young man born in the 80s. Akalibafana maningi, he has to behave himself or else tizamuzimia. But Stifuna, because we believe in democracy, we believe in freedom of expression. But the moment he crosses over to start bringing issues to do with tribalism and hate speech, then he is actually going to wake our demons out, and we'll come for him, and he will be surprised. He will be a rejected demon, like a rejected demon we put in Commander will come with. You know, we can do that to him too. If he wants his political career to prevail, he should desist from practicing politics of hate and tribalism, or else he's going to join the queue with the PF that are on the way that are in hibernation right now and going to Manda. And on the issue of what was the other issue? Was the topic
issue of the vaccines?
The vaccine, that man should be incarcerated. We don't have to wait for the president to make commands or instructions. No, the Minister of Health really, like Kanyika put it, that Minister of Health need a proper overhaul. There has been a lot of criminal activities that went on in that ministry. One wonders what has happened to other ministries, what is going on in other ministries too. If we can see this in the most respectable, humble ministry, like a Ministry of Health, being reduced to such a level where people can supply medicine anywhere, you even take advantage on supplying an unwarranted vaccine. Vane, mwema Zambian nga mwaikala fyesu bina mule ikala fezi tapayo fo mulela ndapo and you are not seeing anything being done. If we can even become terrorists. My guys are by force, because we don't want to see people that are busy killing our fellow brothers and sisters. Imagine what those vaccines that were even destroyed. You would destroy before we even test them, before we even find evidence of how damaged those things could have been. You go ahead and destroy. Who authorized those things? Who came up with such kind of, without any court order? So we need to investigate and come to punish the people that actually gave instructions to destroy that kind of evidence. And what happened to those cell phones you guys found in the ballot papers? We want that. We want answers to. If for Zambian to issues you start something, you don't reach, you don't go with it and find to the end product. We just leave it hanging like that, gassing to Alisha hanging.
Mr. Mkelewai, we've said 2 minutes, sir. We still have other participants. Can we stick to 2 minutes? Can we stick to 2 minutes and stick to our topic, please? So I think your 2 minutes is over. Can we move on to Percy? Percy, over to you. Please stick to 2 minutes and the topic. Let's not go back to gassing. Zambians will be told who gassed them. President Ichilema, we will one day tell you who gassed them. Over to you, Percy.
Okay, I hope everyone is fine. Myself, the thing, I'll first start with Mr. STZ. For me, the way I look at it, we might have voted the tribalists out, but we didn't tackle the issue. Nobody has paid for it. If somebody is paid for it, then you see people falling in line. It's simple. We are human beings. Because if you look at STZ, the gallery he's playing to, we might say, oh, this and that and that. What did Trump do? Trump, everyone, they were writing him off. When he started the campaign, where did he end up? In White House. So you guys just dismissing Mr. Zero, it's wrong. You have to tackle him. And the way that guy needs to be tackled, he has to see the examples on Kambwidi. Kambwidi, nobody is saying Kambwidi the police has called him to interview him. Nobody, I haven't heard anything. If you start with Kambwidi, all these issues are just crumbs. That's how I would put it. So for me, I won't talk much in terms of tribalism of Sean. He's seen it from his elder brother called Kambwidi. So let's not mix issues. It's one and the same thing. They are all in the same WhatsApp group. That's my first point. Now on the vaccines, listen, people. Let's not hit about the bush. Right now, as we are talking, would have expected the police to go and start interviewing whoever signed off those things to be destroyed in the first instance. Because the reason I'm saying that, it's the evidence has been destroyed. So that person who signed off that thing has to pay for that. Before we even start reaching on the actual people who were buying for it. I can assure you, our 60th president, his hand is also in there. Because he was eating with the same guy. They were cheating. There are some pictures when you see them, they look like millionaires, man. Okay, not they look like millionaires. They are millionaires. Because looking and being one, they are two different things. You know. So for me, the way I look at it, when it comes to the drugs, we don't need to even elaborate this, that. No, it's straightforward. We can all see. How can you get the evidence and destroy it? No, the person who signed it off has to face the music. And while he's facing the music, he has to say who gave him the order he followed, which was not lawful. Because as we said, our lawyers here can also correct me. If you are following unlawful order and you are going to execute it, you are also liable for the wrong. And I'll leave it there for the time being.
Thank you so much, Percy. We look like we are running out of time. Really, I will now just summarize it to 1 minute each, which has been very, very unfair to our people, because when we say two minutes, we are all going over 2 minutes. So, Mr. Nkulimba, 1 minute, sir.
Vachiavo tino vantu no sinamunitela jindi ja masuku chino twalumba mwamileza wagenya bamunshaka moto abo yakusika ku Canada. Yeah, now to answer both Sean Tembo and the vaccine issue, I wanted to approach it this way. I want to thank the people of Luapula, the people of Northern, the people of Muchinga, the people of Eastern Province. I thank you for those votes that you gave to UPND, because those votes are saying to Sean Tembo, you are not ready to listen to the trash that Sean Tembo brings before us. So the people who voted for UPND are going to silence Sean Tembo. It's a matter of time. People have refused the trash that has come from Sean Tembo, that continues to come from him, and the trash that came from Chishimba Kambiri and the likes. Again, the issue of vaccine. I thank the people of Zambia, the 2.8 million plus that voted for UPND. The message they are sending is that this government of lawlessness had to go. What we see in the vaccine issue is just an iota of the debt that has been going on for the last 10 years. And as others have said, it's a matter of time we are going to know what that rubbish has been. So again, I thank the people of Zambia who have said no to lawlessness. And the challenge we have for the UPND is not to disappoint the 2.8 million people that have said no to tribalism and no to lawlessness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wankulimba. You have said a fantastic point there. The Zambian people will silence people like Sean Tembo. Mr. Patrick Chilufya, 1 minute, sir.
Yes, General. Yes, the panelists, and good evening, viewers. General, I want to talk about two issues. And the issue of Sean Tembo. I've been following Sean Tembo for a while. I think, General, you remember, Sean Tembo is one of the presidents we invited in the UK on the Diaspora Voice. You remember HH was one of them, Sean Tembo. I could see from, because we invited Sean Tembo just after he and his other party presidents left the alliance. The guy was bitter. The guy had so much hatred for HH. I couldn't understand. Sean Tembo was saying he was much more educated than HH. He was running an audit firm, things like that. But I was so shocked that this guy was running for presidency. He was so childish. But General, you're saying you're gonna see Sean Tembo and other viewers who are commenting on Sean Tembo's page or Facebook page. You need to ask this question, these two questions to Sean Tembo. The first question is, When Sean Tembo, when we hosted Sean Tembo told us that his party has got 500,000 members, party-carrying members in his books. And I was shocked. I was so surprised because 500,000 is not a small number. But to my shock, Sean Tembo got less than 10,000. So which means Sean Tembo should stop calling HH a liar, because Sean Tembo lied to us that he had 500,000 members, and yet he polled less than 10,000, which is a big lie. So these are the questions you should be asking. I've asked him already, and he hasn't responded. The second question is, Sean Tembo was running an audit firm in Botswana, and he ran away from Botswana. Even now, the Botswanan government wants him. The question people should ask is, Sean Tembo, why did you run away from Botswana? Can you come on one of the radio stations or TV and tell the nation what happened in Botswana? You know, because what Sean Tembo is doing is similar to what the PF were doing and Kambwili. You know, at the beginning, you might think this guy is useless and he's not going anywhere, but this guy is destructive. And he's got so much hatred for HH and UPND. So it needs to be dealt with head on. I think that's my point on Sean Tembo. The point on Minister of Health. Minister of Health makes me sick. That place is stinkingly corrupt. General, you know, you're closer to you're in Lusaka there. I think my appeal is there is need for total restructuring overall there at Ministry of Health, and I think we will need a forensic audit there. It doesn't, you know, I would rather the government spends money and we get the truth what has been happening there, and no senior person should remain in their position in that department, especially people who are involved in procurement and buying. Because if we are not careful, these people have been stealing for a long time. They will still continue stealing even when we've got a new government. They will frustrate us. There should be a total overhaul in that ministry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And ladies and gentlemen,
and then the other point I wanted to make, General, I'll be quick. Zamla is another. You know, they're supposed to be an enforcement agency. All these drugs coming into the country, if Zamra wasn't corrupt, you know, those drugs shouldn't have come into the country, and they shouldn't have destroyed them. They should have kept them as evidence. Zamra's board, you know, the moment the Minister of Health is appointed, Zamra's board needs to be dissolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not speaking, please make sure that your microphone is muted, because I'm getting a feedback from here. Over to you, Isaac. Just 1 minute, sir.
Good evening, General, and good evening, fellow panelists. I'm just going to be quick. My first point is Mr. Sean Tembo should be left alone, because now we are in the dispensation of law. The rule of law should prevail in our country, which means we give people their constitutional rights to petition the government and speak as much as they can about the issues that concern them, as long as they're not abrogating the law. Secondly, Mr. Tembo should not forget that, you know, the internet that he's using today, it has a very long memory than all of us here. The things that he's writing today on his page, people will pull them out when he needs to go and campaign in the southern province. The same people that he's been calling cows and stuff like that, they will have the evidence that this is what you call us, and you have nothing to stand on. So just don't ignore him, just let him enjoy his rights, because, you know, for the past 7 years, nobody could enjoy the rights that, like he is doing right now. So it's a good thing. We are showing the rest of the world that we are not an oppressive regime anymore, but we are accepting even people with horrible divergent views, although we stand on the premise that, hate speech and tribalism is not allowed in the country. So I would love to see, the relevant authorities pursue this issue with Mr. Sean Tembo and encourage him to tone down on the negative rhetoric, but at the same time, let him enjoy his rights, because we need him to enjoy his rights. And people should not even threaten him. They should just let him enjoy his rights, but within the realm of the law. My second contribution, General, will be on the new cabinet. I think one thing that I want to see is people be, nominated or appointed who are eligible. First of all, Zambian and well-qualified people to run ministries. And it should also be a balance. We need to see men and women, appointed in the same amount of numbers. I think that will be a good thing to encourage the women for. The third thing is, I would like to see, the reduction of the ministerial numbers, because we have so many of them. Some of them are actually useless, don't even do anything. So we need to cut down on those ministries that can be governmental departments. They remain as such. But as for Ministry of Health, the president should not appoint a Minister of Health as yet. Move the management of Ministry of Health to State House, because that ministry needs to be cleaned. It needs to be purged of this scourge of the past regimes that has brought about, so much misappropriation of resources and also death in the country, because they are not focusing on, the health of people, but they're focusing on their pockets and how they can see, their fortunes grow. So I wish and I pray that the president is listening. Do not appoint a Minister of Health as yet. Move Minister of Health, because it is one of the critical ministries in the country. Move it to State House. Make sure that there is a cleanup, not only by ACC or DEC, but the intelligence also. They should start moving. We need not only a forensic audit, but we also need a proper head count. There might be ghost workers in Ministry of Health as well, because all this money being pilfered, maybe they are going towards paying of contracts of people who are, on people's payroll. So we need a cleanup, and Minister of Health should, the appointment of a Minister of Health should be withheld for now. That's my contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really, really running late now, and I would like the last three speakers to have 30 seconds each. Over to you, Caleb. Strictly 30 seconds, please.
Ziko mwachipakupaku mwachomati anene kwaso. Ziko mo. Thank you so much. I wanted to contribute on the topics that are there. The first one, I think I'll talk about the vaccines. It's really saddening to see that a lot of Zambians, I think they're still in that state of how the government was running in the previous regime, and already this is a sign to say there were a lot of other deals that were happening that the people of Zambia did not know about. And to see us being subjected to such kind of behavior where even, I don't know if it's an earth-moving company, I don't know what company that is, which bought those vaccines, but it just shows that I think there was a lot of, I don't know what term I can use, I don't know if it's cadarism or whatever. It was, we are running a government as if it's a home, where you just tell anyone, go and buy vegetables at the market without proper procedure. Anyway, but I want to say, I think there's a lot that the new government needs to do. Now that President Hakainde is in place and he's putting up all the measures, we'll request him to work on cleaning up and ensuring that everything is in place. I will not say so much about the vaccines. And the other thing, I'm really looking forward to seeing the new cabinet and to see the government start working. And I'm sure once these the cabinet, the ministers are in place, these other people that we're talking about on the TV Bakwet today, I think will not even come into perspective now. We'll not talk about Mr. Tembo because all these things will just start, you know, disappearing. Thank you so much, General. Just to allow
Thank
us.
you so much, Mr. Piri. Thank you so much. Over to Himba. 30 seconds, please.
Comrade Chpakpak, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. First and foremost, I would love to inform the House that in Zambia, tatwakwata ma ministry. Twakwata tuntemba twapalako kuma ministries. So, UPND government, bale samkuleta ma ministries. Ukufumio tuntemba tulio twaliko. Ministry of Health will leave it to the people who are going to be appointed to take care of it. Pakatampire kuli issue ya kapoko. Kutakuwa liwama scandal. Tuleiwisha issue ya kapoko. So we'll leave it there. Then va Sean Tembo. Sean Tembo na abatu tukaife mu groups. Twachibaleta tubatuasuke fwe baiche banabo batubutuka. So va Sean Tembo, for me, I think he doesn't even know what he wants at the moment. He doesn't even think of what kind of a leader he wants to be. Because if he's a young leader who wants to be president one day, the language he's having is not for us young people. I don't know who he wants to lead. Akasuba, we requested for his number to join one of the Zambian WhatsApp group where most of us are young people. He ran away twice. Now, if he's not able to share his manifesto in the group, what is he going to tell the whole Zambian people? For me, he's not a factor. But my advice to Comrade Tembo is that the generation we have now is a civilized generation. This is a 21st century that asks why, how, what are you going to do? And this kind of politics will not take him anywhere. And there's a lot of civilization among young people who are the majority voters in Zambia. So, Katwishi, and he's never been a leader before. Other people who are wise, they say, if you've never been led and you're not willing to learn from others, you'll never be a good leader. So let him turn down and be able to be mentored and nurtured to be ready for Zambia. At this moment, tupeniko twala dilingana navo, not on this level, e platform, hawe bale kenve su tupere twala dilingana navo. Ichongulopo mkwai.
Thank you so much, Himba. Deal with him because when I go to his office, I'll go and sit him down because he, you know, first of all, he's a small boy. He doesn't know politics and he has no respect. So I'll go and sort of teach him manners because he has no manners. Finally, Gladys, please, 30 seconds.
Because we are even thinking maybe he's mentally ill. Elo ba wamine kuliba PF limbika brain karisela.
Thank you. Know, Gladys, over to you. 30 seconds. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I'll just comment quickly on the same topic of Sean Tembo Zero. And I think Sean Tembo is really looking for attention to collect the votes for 2026, but apparently is going in the wrong lane. And this should not be tolerated because Zambia has gained the freedom of speech, but it seems like now he's taking advantage of misusing it.
Gladys, it looks like we have a bad line from your end. Very bad line from your end. I'm getting a sort of feedback. Can you try and take your video off, please?
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Now? Okay.
Go
now,
ahead.
what I was saying is, yes, please. What I was saying is that Sean Tembo is looking for attention to collect the votes for 2026, but apparently is going into a wrong lane. And this should not be tolerated, because Zambia has regained the freedom of speech, and now people like Sean Tembo is trying to misuse it. We should be addressed as usual, like the Kambwili does, because when we keep on saying that it should be ignored, it's gonna grow big, and it will still bring up the division in the country. So it has to be addressed constantly, and the Zambian people, the youth, they have to put him in place and to say that this is enough. We don't want the Zambia we had yesterday. We have to be better Zambians and be united. I know my 30 seconds is finished, but I have some more to say if I can be allowed. But I'll quickly just add on what Chawinga said. I really agree with what Chawinga says, that the minister in the the health minister should not be appointed yet, because there's a lot of piling cases which is going on, and if the current regime takes over the Minister of the Minister of Health, they're gonna take over all the cases, and the person who's gonna take over, he will look like he's the bad seed, because those people, from the person who has been receiving the consignee, they have to be accounted for. So it has to be cleaned up from the person who received until the person who signed, the person who destroyed, because all those systems has to be counter-checked. If they are not counter-checked now and they appoint the new minister, everything is going to be hidden. So I think you can probably advise the president that they have to wait. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Munsha, are you still there? No? If Munsha is not there, I just want to say thank you so much to our viewers. First of all, to our panelists today. We have got some very interesting comments tonight, and we need to make sure that we move our country forward. I think we're all looking forward to the president appointing his cabinet. We are all agreeing that our friend Sean Tembo Zero has got the right to speak. He's got the right to speak, but he has no right to try and use the regulatory language, things like the cow mentality. We have to make sure that what was happening in PF should never happen again. And I think one important recommendation is coming tonight, that the president should not appoint a minister of health. I hope he's listening, that we have to investigate the Minister of Health. We have to investigate the Minister of Health. We have also agreed tonight that Zambians, those who are there, will be given the chance to work for and reunite and rebuild our country. If you are given the chance, let's use that chance to rebuild our country. So once more, I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of Munsha, on behalf of, I know he's sleeping now, he's been traveling for hours, this gentleman, and on behalf of Jeremy and our backward team, our technical team on the background, and to all of you who participated. I'm sorry that tonight I didn't have enough time to read your comments, but I will try and respond some of the comments. So just want to say thank you so much for coming tonight on Backway to TV. We will come back tomorrow to update you about the cabinet if it's announced, and we'll make sure that I tell you about what is going to happen, what is happening in Lusaka. I promise you, I will try and approach Sean Tembo and sit him down. If he was born in 1980 or 82, he's like my daughter or my son. I will try and sit him as a father and try and make him behave. Because anybody born after 1975 could be my son. So I will do my best as a father, a good father. I'll sit him down, because we are not going to tolerate this nonsense of tribalism. It has to stop. So once more, from Lusaka and TV Wakwetu team, on behalf of our panelists and on behalf of all our viewers, we just want to say good night. And I can tell you, Lusaka is beautiful. The sunshine is fantastic. The sunsets, fantastic. Tonight, the sunset on the roof somewhere. I will post a picture at my son's house. The sunset was just beautiful. So from Lusaka, where
one second, I saw you dancing. You've left that one out. You've left that one out. You were dancing to the Mwankole.
Percy, my son said to me, Dad, we must play the Mwankole songs and all the PF songs, the campaign songs, so that we continue telling them that you lost. And that's what I did. And I've had comments on that dance. We will continue dancing with my son and my family. And I've actually told my wife and my family to wear PF chitenges because they're free. So they'll be wearing them in the garden, and especially when they're cleaning the garden and cleaning the cars. We might be using, because there are too many PF chitenges, Percy, wherever you go, they're there. So we'll be using them to clean our shoes and probably clean the cars as well. Because it's taxpayers' money, we must use them properly. I might take some to the village so that we use them as overalls as we work in the garden. So yes, Percy, I was dancing with my son. Go to that video and enjoy. We'll be playing the PF songs on my Facebook page to remind them that PF lost despite spending so much money. So from Lusaka, I want to say good night to everybody. Continue dancing. We have a free country. We are able to move freely. For me, I've been moving from place to place and people are smiling. That's what we fought for. Good night from Lusaka.
Good night from the Scandinavia.
Good night, guys. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
So you mean today we won't have a background talk?
Good night. Good night.
Bamusha, are we not going to have
link
a
up some other
background
time.
chat today?
I think Bamusha now send them this time.
Kode bra søster i Danmark. Hva gjør du da?
Ja, god nat. Jeg så godt.
Sover godt. Vi snakkes, men
Det gør vi. Hej, så længe.
Når skal du rejse til Zambia?
Næste år.
Næste år?
Ja,
Det er længe siden.
Nej, jeg er lige begyndt at læse, så det bliver svært for mig at tage fri, så jeg tager hjem, når jeg er fri, når jeg holder ferie.
Ja, sånn, ja. Ok. Nei, jeg og min familie skal reise neste år.
Hvornår? Og næste år?
Neste år, ikke nå.
Okay.
Neste år. Ja.
Til sommer, de bøder til sommer.
Ja,
we want to be part of the conversation.
Oh,
hello.
Bahim, sorry.
We want to be part of the conversation.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, he's just asking when I'm traveling to Zambia. That next year, God willing.
That's the 70. We have a 74th language, my sister. Malabo.
Yes, we have the 74th, yes.
So that we negate these guys who are trying to bring tribalism, that we are a multilinguistic, multicultural country. So we don't have to be put down by some politicians.
No.
Sean Tembo, I used to have